The first way was insecurity, right? It was like, I am the Dragon Warrior? Like astonishment, I am the Dragon Warrior? And the next way was like affirmation, like, I am the Dragon Warrior. And then the third way was enthusiastic, because he's such a geek, like, I'm the Dragon Warrior! You know, and you can play it any different way, so it's important for an animator to understand the intent of any given line and the situation that the character's in, so. Yeah, so I did that more when I was in California. I have less free time now that I'm in London, so I haven't done a film. In fact, everyone's reaching out to me going, when's the next film? When are you gonna make another film? But right now, the free time is limited. But it's there. It's like an itch, you know, that you have to scratch. And eventually the itch just gets to be too much and you have to scratch it. So you have to put the brakes on something and scratch this itch. Everyone I know that does films on the side, we always joke that it's an itch, or sometimes we say it's a disease. And you're like, I have this disease and I need support for this disease. I have this condition where I need to make films. I need to make something on my own, or you know, outside of the institution, you know. Even though we love what we do, it's a different animal altogether when you're doing it for yourself, you know. Oh, and they're always, by the way, they're always collaborations with friends and fellow animators. I think that's part of why I love it, is it's collaborating with people that are incredibly talented in other ways, and it's letting them be creative in other ways. It's letting them be actors, or it's letting them, you know, do something. One of my friends is an incredible musician, and he wrote these albums to these 1970s movies that never existed. And when I heard the albums, I said, we should make trailers for these movies, like real trailers for these fake movies. And that set off a 5-year project with some of my closest friends in Los Angeles. And it was an amazing experience. And we did 4 films, and at the end we had this huge wrap party where we showed all the films and all this supplemental material, and the band played, and it was incredible. And it was all just us. There was no one influencing that except for us, and that was really special to all of us. I think I'd have to be Poe, because I very much identify with Poe. He's super enthusiastic. He loves Kung Fu, but he's got a lot of self-doubt in himself, and that is 100% me in animation. I love animation. It's totally my passion, but there's not a single day that goes by that I don't have self-doubt about something that I'm like, okay, I need to do this today, and oh, is it gonna be okay? So when I started animating Poe, I very much identify with that aspect of his personality. Enthusiasm meets insecurity, meets attaining, you know, what he's meant to be, what he's meant to do. So I very much identify with Poe. Yeah. This doesn't hurt either. There are films that you can just watch anytime in your life. You can just put them on, and they're like comfort films. And for me, should I admit this? Predator, The Predator is one of those films for me. I've loved it since I was a little boy. I love everything about it. My wife pointed out once I was watching it, she pointed out that there's no dialogue in it. It's just ambient music and machine gun fire. And I'm like, that's brilliant. To her, that was a critique. To me, I was like, what a brilliant movie. Now, I think on a more serious note, Shawshank Redemption is a perfect film. Story, acting, everything about that film is perfect. I think from an animated perspective, to me, Incredibles 1 still holds up as a perfect film. I know that it's dated and animation has gotten more sophisticated, but it has everything and it's perfect in that sense. Growing up, my favorite film was Secret of NIMH. I watched that thing over and over and over again. I loved the darker parts of it. I'm a big fan of horror films, so you know that could be part of why I love Secret of NIMH, because it was scary as a kid. There were scary parts. I feel like there's a film right on the tip of my tongue that when I walk out of here, I'm going to go, why didn't you say that film? Goonies, yes. I wore my Goonies shirt yesterday. I love Goonies, yeah. Goonies, okay. Take two. I love the 80s. You ask anybody, they're going to go, oh yeah, Steve Meyer, he's still living in the 80s. And it's true, I love the 80s, and one of my favorite films is Goonies. I have a friend who is an even bigger Goonies fan than I am. He built half of the film museum that is in Astoria, where Goonies was filmed. His name's Damon Crowe, and he rebuilt the ORV from the beginning of the film. He recreated Data's jacket. I got to put that jacket on. I've got a picture of me wearing Data's jacket. I love that film though. You know what I love about Goonies, other than it's a great film with great characters, is it's one of those films where everybody in it serves a purpose. And that's like this weird little fantasy of mine, to be a part of a team where everybody has a specific purpose. And there's a moment in time where whatever it is you do well comes necessary, right? And that's what that movie does so well. Everybody in that little group has their little quirks, and it's weird that they're together, but then suddenly, oh, Annie plays the piano and she has to play the organ of bones. Oh, what a coincidence. And I love that. It's got such payoff, you know, when everybody becomes necessary. I feel like anything that I would say, I've already said, because part of it is don't let the grind get you down. You know, do your own thing. If following your passion results in sort of a day-to-day malaise, that doesn't mean that you don't still love it. It's just become a job, and you have to do something else to rekindle that. And I think that that's always going to be part of what people do. I think even if you think about the 9 Old Men, those guys played in bands. You know, they had their firehouse group, and they built trains. They had outside interests that came back in and informed them. So my advice would be to have outside interests that relight your passion so that you can be great at what you've dedicated your life to being great at. Because if all you do is that, you will burn out. You will hit a wall, you'll hit a rut. And I don't think anybody wants that for themselves. So live life, do other things, experience, say yes. I said yes to this, and it's been pretty awesome. So say yes.